Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Ro here. Thank you for visiting You Grow Ro. If this is your first time here, I hope you'll consider subscribing at the end of this video. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you. Today, guys, we need to have a talk. And we're going to talk about what I have in this binder. Sounds pretty serious, doesn't it? It's not that serious, but it'll help you. And I'll tell you what we're talking about in just a moment. Okay, friends, so we got something to talk about. We need to air some things right here. I've got my trusty binder here. Binder. I made this. Isn't it cute? It's very nice. But inside of here, I have some notes that I want to go over with you guys. By the way, if you do find this information helpful and you want to revisit it, you could obviously rewatch this video, but I also have a companion blog post on my website. You can go to yougrowro.com, and I published this article, this blog post on September 20th, and I think I named it Evaluating This Year's Garden. And so, spoiler alert, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I know that my garden season is coming to an end here sooner rather than later, and I'm sad about it, but I'm happy about it all at the same time, because gardening, as Miss Shirley will tell anybody, is hard work. And as much as I enjoy it, I am ready for a break, a little bit of a break. Although this was an epic year for me. I didn't dream it would be this good, but I had a really great growing season this year. Wow. So anyways, that aside, I'm going to do a separate video on what worked for me this year and what didn't. But today I want to give you guys some notes on what you might want to start thinking about so that you can have the most success next year. All right. And that means we're going to be discussing how to evaluate your garden from this year. Now, I've broken this down into 4 steps. 4. And let's just, I'm sorry, not 4, 7 steps. All right. And we're just going to go over them really quick. And again, if you want something that you can print out, go to my website, yougrowro.com, and check the blog post that was published on September 20th. So step 1 is to review your plant choices. So what I mean by that is, did certain vegetables or flowers thrive in your garden? Did some of them struggle? Take note of what those plants were that did good for you and what didn't. And make a list of them and reflect on, factors such as the plant health, the yield, and your overall satisfaction. If something didn't do well for you, I'm not saying you don't have to grow it again next year, but maybe you want to try a different variety or something. That's the whole point of this. If you're growing food and you have a plant in your garden that didn't give you any food, maybe don't do it again. Because the goal is to get the food, right? So review your plant choices. Step 2 is to analyze your growing conditions. Now, do as I say, not as I do. At this point, I'm telling you that it would probably be beneficial to conduct a soil test. I did a soil test when I first moved in, and I haven't done one since. Mostly because I'm growing above ground or in raised beds or in vertical gardening. And so I've bought all that soil. I don't really need to test it, right? I do kind of want to test some of my beds from 2 years ago to see how that soil is coming along. But anyways, if you can, go ahead and get a soil pH test. You want to pay attention to areas with too much sunlight, soil quality, and drainage issues, things like that. And that'll help you make more informed decisions about your plant placement and what soil amendments you're probably going to want to put into place for the coming year. Step number 3 is evaluate your garden layout. I love this step because every year my garden gets better and better and better because I keep paying attention to what works and what doesn't work, right? So, prime example, last year I grew in my bucket garden in front of my garage, which gets plenty of light. I grew tomatoes. Not a one of them did very well. And I got to thinking, you know what would really appreciate that spot though, because it gets afternoon shade, is peppers. So this year I grew peppers over there. They went nuts, absolutely nuts. So consider where you are planting things. Maybe you need to move some of your plants to a different location to get better production out of them. Let's see. Step number 4, you need to reflect on your watering practices. This was a big one for me because I have always wanted to get, drip irrigation. And I never did. I bought a kit and I was using it for my 17-gallon buckets, but that was about it. I didn't have anything in the yard. And then I finally got the green stalk watering kits. So 2 of those are on there, which is a great help. But then like my in-ground beds in the back, none of them have drip water irrigation. Now I set it up this year. I went and I got another rain capture kind of bucket thing, trash can basically, that I had set up. And I was all ready to get that drip irrigation going to the beds, over there. And this year turned out I didn't even need it. I never even got to use it because nature provided enough water for those things. But you just never know. So if you have areas that you are identifying as being overwatered or underwatered, start thinking about that for the next year so you can know what you want to do in order to, again, have better success in the coming year. All right, step number 5, monitor pests and disease issues. Listen, if you tell me that you didn't have one pest in your garden this whole year, first of all, I think you were lying or you're not paying attention to your garden. I've never had a garden where I didn't have some kind of pest issue or whatever. I had this year was the year of the Japanese beetle for me. Last year was the year of the aphids and groundhogs and bunnies. But this year I took pretty good care of that. Didn't have those issues. So just, if you know what you're going to have common issues with, do what you can to prevent massive amounts of damage from those pests. My light's on a motion sensor. But do what you can to take care of that issue for the coming year, right? So you can manage it better. There's always going to be something that happens, but maybe you can prevent as much damage. You know what I'm saying? Step number 6 is to assess your time and effort. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about your plant choices, but gardening is hard work and it requires time and effort, and you have to determine if what you're doing is sustainable for you. So if you're spending, too much time weeding and not enough time planting, maybe you need to rework something. You got some things to think about. But for me, that was kind of like what I had to do with the watering that I added to the green stalks. By the time I got done watering the in-ground beds, and then I had to do the green stalks, it was getting just ridiculous. And I felt like it was worth the money to take that off of my shoulders, right? So I have it on a timer. I don't even water those things anymore. I have it on a timer. I don't worry about it. It's automatically done for me, and I have more time to do more of the things around the garden that I want to do. And again, to that point, if you have a plant that you've been spending all kinds of time on, babying it and it never gave you any food. Maybe consider not doing that again, because again, why would you put that much time and effort into something that didn't produce? It doesn't make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. And then finally, plan for the next year. So using all the information that you've evaluated, using the steps that I just laid out for you, go ahead and make your list of the new plants you want to try, the improvements you want to make to your garden layout, any changes you want to make to your maintenance routine. Set some clear goals, which I do every year, and I always tell you guys what my goals are, to help myself remain accountable to those goals. And then start preparing early to set the stage for a more successful growing season in the coming year. So you could do things like create a detailed garden plan, include a planting schedule, lay out a design, and make sure you have all your necessary supplies. Be organized. Be intentional. You'll be ready. You'll be raring to go, and you'll have everything together. Last thing you want to do is be unprepared. That never works out. All right, so that's what I had for you guys. The conclusion that I came to was that evaluating this year's garden is a crucial step in preparing for next year's success. By reviewing your plant performance, your growing conditions, your garden layout, your watering practices, your pest and disease issues, and the time and effort involved, you can make informed decisions that lead to a thriving garden. Embrace the lessons that you have learned and look forward to the joys and rewards of the gardening in the year to come. Right? All right, so I wish all of us the best of luck in evaluating our gardens. I will be posting a video here in the coming weeks where I'm going to evaluate my garden for you, with you, so that you can maybe see what I intend to do, what works for me, and what my evaluation looks like for me, and hopefully inspire you to do the same thing so that we can all be great gardeners next year. All right, friends, I hope you got some information out of this. I tried to make it as short and sweet and succinct as possible. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button, maybe subscribe. Do share with your family and friends who are in the gardening community, and I will see you all in another video on another day. Until then, happy growing, my friends.